We do have officials that practice every day. They're there calling the practice sessions. We have inside drills, some one-on-one pass drills, what we call 11 on 11, where it's offense versus defense. And they're there. They're making calls all day long. When they do make a call, we'll pull a kid out of the drill immediately and have some up downs or push-ups just for a quick discipline of it. And then also we have some team discipline if we have enough penalties in any given ball game. For example, this last ball game we had, when you have 5 or less, we don't have a team discipline for that. But anything over 5, if it was 6, for example, then the entire team would have 60 up downs. After the Florida game, we had 80 up downs as a team, and so we're trying to send a strong message. But we've been doing that for years. Though we've had officials there for years. Yeah, the rotation of running backs is really kind of an art in itself, and I think it has a lot to do with how you feel about your backs. If you've got 2 guys that are very equal in ability, you might say, every 5 plays you're going to rotate them out, or every, so many plays, just depending on the stamina of a player. Sometimes you have 2 backs that are very different in their styles, and one needs to be in there on a certain play, and another one needs to be in there on a different kind of play. You might have one who's a great pass protector, and the other one doesn't protect as well. You might have one that runs routes better and catches the ball out of the backfield better. But our situation right now with Noshawn is a guy who can run well, pass protect well, catch the ball well. There's no reason why Noshawn should come out of a ball game unless he's fatigued, and we leave that up to Noshawn. If Noshawn feels like he can't go full speed, then we don't want him in there. We don't want him to be, usually if a back is fatigued, he's more apt to fumble the ball. He's more apt to have a missed assignment. He's more apt to get hurt. So we trust his judgment on how he's feeling, and if he feels he should come out for a little bit of a breather, then we'll do that. And there's other times we're going to take him out anyway because we think he needs a rest, whether he thinks he does or not. Well, I think that's a good question and a fair question. Both Noshawn and Matthew are eligible to apply for the NFL draft, and I'm not sure what they're going to do right now. We've not taken the time to talk about it. It's the middle of the season. It's a time for everybody to be focusing on the game at hand and try to win games for Georgia. But there'll come a time in between the regular season and the bowl season or the bowl game where normally that's the time we discuss those kind of things. There's still plenty of time for them to make decisions, and most of those guys don't even want to talk about it until about that time. But they realize it is a time that is a little bit freer to think about those types of things. And we'll get into that after the Georgia Tech game. Well, we've had a lot of success on the road, and we don't do a lot different during any given week. And if you have 4 games away from home in a row, in some ways it's easier in that, especially if they're SEC games, you're allowed to bring 70 guys per game, and a lot of times, of course, when you're at home, if it's an SEC game, you can have 80 on your dress list, plus 15 who are not eligible to play but can dress. So if you go back and forth, you're constantly juggling lineups and juggling the roster. If you're going 4 away games in a row, that 70 number stays pretty constant. We do practice in our stadium on Thursdays when we go away to simulate the crowd noise. That's something we do a little bit different. But other than that, we don't do a whole lot different. It's Fridays, of course, we'll leave a little bit earlier. We might have a couple guys miss class the Fridays of an away game, but the Friday of a home game, we don't have anybody miss class. Well, what we normally do when we travel is we get to the hotel on Friday, usually by about 5 or so. We have our dinner somewhere around 6:30, and then around 7 I'll address the team. talk a little bit about life, and then talk a little bit about the game. And then our offense and defensive coaches will take them for a little bit. Our special teams coaches will take them for a little bit, and then there's a devotion at night if the guys choose to go to that. Then they all go to bed. Lights out usually by about 11:30. And then if it's a day game like this last one, or early day game, a noon game, then we just have our pregame meal, start taping. We have a chapel for whoever would like to come. And after the chapel service, I talk to them about 10-15 minutes before we jump on the bus to go to the game. And we're usually there about 2 hours prior. Give them about an hour to get dressed and ready. The first group goes out for pregame warm-up about 1 hour prior to kickoff. And then not long after that, we play the game. If it's a 3:30 or a night game, we'll pretty much do the same routine. The only thing different is we will spend time with the offensive coaches and the special team coaches in meetings again during the day if time allows it. First of all, I've got a lot of respect for Coach Fulmer and what he's done at Tennessee. They won an awful lot of ball games, won SEC championships, a national championship. He's one of the better coaches in the country, and I would just say that I hate it when anybody loses their job, whether it's in football or out of football. It's a tough time economically for this country, and I know that there's people that are losing jobs for no fault of their own, and it's just a tough time for them and their families, and my prayers are with them.